Red-Dreaded Nation, this is Holly Quinn saying you better tune in or we'll bust your neck open.
Comics Plus, what is going on? My name is Akasan. How are you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. We're about to go beyond our expectations and interview the cast and crew of Batman Beyond. It's coming out this month on home and digital. You gotta check it out. One of my favorite series. I'm dressed to the T for it all. Let's go ahead and see what the cast and crew thinks about Batman Beyond.
How do you balance doing promotions for new stuff coming out? I was sitting at a table with you yesterday, and then these anniversary type events.
Well, the good thing is these type of events, you guys already know and like the stuff that we're pushing, so we don't have to sell it to you so much. So it's a little easier. It's not the pressure isn't. It's like, oh yeah, you worked on something I liked. Hopefully. But with the new movies, it's always like, yeah, what is this shit you're trying to sell us? So it's a little different. So it's more relaxing.
So for a show that didn't even get to finish out its initial run, when did you know it was going to be something that was worthy of a 20th anniversary package?
Last week. You know, it was weird. We did the show, and then it was over, and it kind of went away, and we all spread out and did other things, and then the first DVD set came out, and that did pretty well, and you know, slowly as the internet started growing, we started seeing more people talking about the show still. We're like, wow, they're talking about it now in a way that we didn't really have that when we were doing the show, because the internet wasn't what it is now. For good. I'm glad. So we, you know, slowly we're like, yeah, you know, Andrea would say, oh, I went to a con and a lot of people are asking about that now. And, you know, I think as we went out and did appearances and stuff, and we got more and more feedback about that show, it was like, wow, I guess they liked it more than we thought they did based on what we were hearing back then. So
why did the show end? Did it just run its course? Did the studio say, okay, we have X amount of episodes to end this, or what? How did it?
Well, originally Kids WB was run by a certain group of people, and in the middle of our second season, that group changed. And the group that came in hated the show. They thought it was violent and awful and not, you know, like creating juvenile delinquency and all this stuff. So we knew the target was on our back then, pretty much. And we knew once we hit a certain number, they weren't going to renew. And that's pretty much what happened. So we had no allies at the network at the time. And in fact, the reason Return of the Joker, the uncut version that originally was supposed to come out, the exec that put the kibosh on that was pretty much in charge of not renewing us. So she hated the show. So that's pretty much the truth.
She has no taste.
Yeah, and the many things.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
There's a lot of properties being rebooted.
Yes.
And going back, would you think about rebooting anything that you've been a part of?
What we were talking about, of all the shows that we worked on together, this is probably the one show we thought ended before its time. Like Justice League, you can always make more Justice League, but it's not necessary. We've told a lot of Justice League stories, and BTAS is kind of the same way, but Batman Beyond had room to grow. And so, of all the shows that I'd be excited to go back and do more of, besides my own, like Brave and Bold, I'd do that in a heartbeat, because that's just fun. But I think, as far as storytelling potential, I think Batman Beyond has more left to tell.
I have a bit of a strange question, but a lot of people that watched Batman Beyond, they would think Terry McGinnis was Asian or some part of Asian, and they would really feel inspired or even dress up like him because of that. What's your opinion on like people like casting certain like races or qualities on these characters that you're so big and part of?
I mean, you know, I mean, you look at a character like Psylocke from the X-Men, and sometimes I think it has a lot to do with who's drawing them. And in our case, for Brave and the Bold, Batman Beyond. Thank you. But Batman Beyond, Glenn Murakami was a big factor in how that show looked and felt. And even though he didn't personally design Terry's, there was an Asian influence in that we were looking at anime. They'd gone to Tokyo for visits, and I think Glenn, somehow through just the osmosis of who was working on the show, it had more of a more multicultural feel to it. And so I don't know if it was, I mean, Bruce Timm designed Terry, and I don't think he purposely gave him that feel, but we noticed as the animation was coming back, and as just the way, it just felt that way. So I hadn't heard it that was actually happening, but we kind of felt that it was a natural thing too. We felt it too.
What's your favorite episode that you've ever worked on?
Batman Beyond.
Yes.
Out of the Past I was the best script. I only directed 5 episodes. I worked on a lot more as a storyboard artist, designer. But when I became a director, I had 5 shots at it, and I like of the ones I did. I like Egg Baby for sentimental reasons because it got us an Emmy, but Out of the Past was the best script. And
now that you feel getting an Emmy for an animated program, how did you feel about getting that Emmy for the animated program?
It was my first ever directing effort. So I was scared crapless. I was because it was like this. I was getting pranked for this. Like, okay, you're a director. Here's your first script. It's a really jokey, campy thing that normally we didn't do, and I'm like, wait a minute, why are we doing this? Because this isn't what we normally do, and why are you giving it to me? Are you trying to sabotage me? You know, I was paranoid, really paranoid. And Bruce was like, no, it's cool, just lean into it. I think he realized I could do something with it, because my tastes do run campy, my tastes do run weird. I like, as Brave and the Bold showed, I'm not afraid of silliness and satire.
I would say you have diverse taste now.
Diverse taste, okay. Yeah.
Eclectic diversity.
Yeah.
You've been working on DC superhero projects for going on 30 years, almost.
Not 30. I'm not that old. I've been watching them that long. Well, I first got the first DC animated show was Superman the Animated Series. So that's 95. So I'm not quite. But
so almost 25
soon.
years.
Yeah.
Do they have a good pension system?
Not at all. No, I don't. I'll find out. I guess I'll find out.
What did you like working with Tim Daly as Superman?
You know, I was a storyboard artist then, so I didn't really get to work with him directly because storyboard artists didn't go to the reports. But then after the fact, he came in. I worked with his son on Flashpoint because his son was Superman in Flashpoint, and then he came in with his son. So I met him, but I don't think he did any voice work. So I had met him. So it was weird. So, but it was great. It's funny because I think he retroactively embraces the Superman character. I think he was doing the show, you know, he was a well-known up-and-coming actor at the time, and so sometimes, and I think this is because animation at the time was growing into its own. BTAS had just ended, but BTAS hadn't acquired the legendary. Like, I don't know if he understood what it meant to be Superman at the time. And so when Justice League came around, he wasn't available. He kind of passed on it, and that's why we ended up with Jordan Newman, who was great for Justice League Superman. And given how we changed Superman a little bit for Justice League and made him a little more dark.
Cocky.
Yeah, George was a good choice. I mean, it kind of worked out the way it was supposed to, but then since then, Tim has come back and done the voice for things, and now he really embraces being Superman in a way that I don't know he did when he was doing it originally.
What drove the decision to change Hush's identity from the comic to the recently animated release?
Okay. All I will say is one thing to have I forget how many issues they were, spread over almost a 2-year period. The mystery, I remember what happened when the book finished up and people went, that's who it is? That's no mystery. So imagine if you're trying to tell that whole story in 70 minutes, it will feel like a Scooby-Doo. Oh, it is the professor. You know, there was no way to spool that mystery out. We didn't have enough time to really lean into the red herrings that you would do. And no one knows who, in our continuity, no one would know who Jason Todd is. So that whole thing, which I thought was kind of well, anyway, I'm not going there. The thing is, the whole crux of the idea that Hush was a mystery did not work in the context of the running time we had, because we didn't have enough time to build a mystery to deflect from Thomas Elliot. In fact, because I knew we had to change who Hush was, I had to make Thomas Elliot seem more suspicious, so that for you guys who know who he was would think, oh, it's going to be him. So anyway, and then we leaned into the love story, which I thought was more important anyway, and more doable in 70 minutes.
So the twist totally got there.
Okay, yeah. She was excellent.